Hello guys, and today we're going to look at the Little League mid-season review. I said I was going to do this. I said I was going to do it over a season game and then commentate the season game, but I kind of realised how long this is going to take because I will be doing all the teams. So it's a long one, so you'll have to strap yourself in. If you want to see your team, like in particular, just skip forward. I would put timestamps, but I'm too lazy. It's not going to happen, let's be honest. So we'll get straight on with it. You can see the scores there. I'm going to break this down, so I'm not going to talk too much on this right now. So we're literally going to jump straight into the first team and kind of go from there. So Isaiah, 2-4. Picked up wins against Siren, picked up wins against Tristan. The Tristan win, I think, is very important as far as keeping Isaiah in the game. He still has a game to play for week 7 against Malbon, and we will get that game to play eventually once we get people to cooperate. But we'll get there. We will get there. Looking at his team, I kind of get it. Defensively, there's definitely some weaknesses in Isaiah's team. Offensively, incredibly strong. Like Mikey, Ahmed, Amir, Angela. Like, he has that offensive power, but defensively, the speed is rough. And being on cement, I almost like cement works against him just because his speed is lacking somewhat. Kenny's got 3-1. Kenny can help himself, but as far as the others, I don't know. Plus he has the Marky Billie Jean combo, which I don't get. It's not for me, but some people like it. Looking at some stats, ain't noteworthy. Ahmed Khan is currently Isaiah's home run leader with 3. Also the RBI leader, as they kind of tend to be. Pitching wise, he's been all over Angela, which makes sense. It's fair. I don't think Isaiah's too far behind. I think if you look at his games coming up, Miki and Jordan, I think he has certainly the potential to win both those games. I know Miki obviously is his brother, so that'll be interesting. Then he's versing Kenny, Siren, Jasmine. The back end of Isaiah's season is going to be tough because versing Tech and Junior, they could be the games that are going to decide his season, and it's tough games. It's very tough games, but he's picked up wins, and anything can happen. He's beaten Siren, and in my opinion, I think if you can beat Siren, you should be able to beat Junior. He got close against Junior once already. Tech's kind of standing out, as is Perky, but we'll get to Perky. I don't think he actually versus Perky, he doesn't. But will Isaiah get playoffs? He's going to have to really fight for it. I think right now he's probably the underdog to reach playoffs, but I think he definitely can. He's got enough power there that he can score some like really big games if he wants to. Right, over to the next. Kenny G, 3-4. Kathy, Rachel. I love how overpowered Little League teams are. Ken Griffey, Marcellus, and Rachel Brenner. Right, so wins against Isaiah, Junior, and a forfeit win against Kurisu. Tricky. It's a tricky one because I feel like Kenny can hit. Kenny definitely. I've seen him play in like some of the streams that he's done. I think I've commentated a Kenny game as well, and he can read. But again, defensively, there's something going on. There's something defensive. I'm trying to see what the issue is. Like, the speed's not terrible. I don't mind a 5 speed. I think once you hit 4, that's when it's a nightmare. But I think 5 speeds are fine. Gary, Marcellus, Rachel. Rachel is kind of a one-trick as far as defence. You can put her on the outfield and that's about it. And if Rachel doesn't catch in the outfield, then you're kind of screwed. Assuming he's not using Rachel as a pitcher. But would I use Rachel as a pitcher? I don't like the idea of having just heaters as your pitch. So probably not. I'd probably go... He's kind of lacking a proper pitcher, I think. Marcellus? Yeah, that's rough. I think that's potentially where he might be missing out. I think his pitching is going to be a little bit of a struggle. But 3-4, it's all to play for. He's got Perky coming up next. Perky's a hard one, but then he's got Mr. Pants, Isaiah, Junior. He's got some high up teams. He's got some low teams. So I think the ball's in his court at this point. It could go either way. Do I think Kenny reaches playoffs? Again, like Isaiah, I think he's slightly underdog right now, but at the same time, I think he might get there. I think Kenny will get there. Right, home run wise, Rachel Brenner is first. No surprise, Rachel is kind of a beast. Better than Kenny though, which is kind of surprising. RBIs, Rachel and Kenny. And pitching wise, he's using Fernando Diaz, who he has gotten rid of. I forgot to look at the trades. Has Isaiah made any trades? Yes, he has. Let me have a quick look at that real quick. So, Raul, Nomar, Chipper, he has replaced with Kenny Lofton, Mikey, and Sean. Yeah, absolutely fine. I think he's probably missing Nomar just because of the speed. But, see, I did this trade in my SDL, but I did the other way around. I traded Mikey for Nomar because Mikey's just a little bit slow. I'm not a huge Mikey fan. Some people really like him. I know CRK really likes Mikey Thomas, but not for me. But the trades ain't bad. Right, I was going back to Kenny. Right, so Fernando Diaz, he traded out for Cowan Donato, which is fine, but yeah, he has kind of left himself. Yeah. Interesting. We'll see. He's doing okay. He's doing okay. I think he could definitely get there. Siren is 4-3. Julie Dunkel, Jessica, just a really strong team. Beating Jasmine, then moving over and beating Belladonna and Captain. That's a good win. Forfeit win against Kenny G. I kind of like this team. Home run wise, Julie is being Julie. It is what it is. Sophie Meyer and Lisa Crockett have been swapped out for Frank Thomas and Debbie Nagasawa. I actually really like that. Sophie Meyer is really good, but I think that trade-off with Lisa and getting Debbie, yeah, I really like that. I actually think Simon's going to do quite well. I think Simon's making the playoff with his team. I do. I think it's strong. He has line drive potential in every single player here. On Big City, I mean, he could score home runs with at least 5 of these players. Maybe not Frank. I mean, obviously you can. You can score home runs with basically anyone in the game. But if we're talking about consistent, Julie, yes. Mo, yes. Debbie, yes. Alexis, yes. Ronnie, yes. Maybe Jessica, maybe. But I think Simon's going to make playoffs. Just prediction. I don't know yet, but we'll see. Who's he pitching with? I assume obviously he's going to be using Frank after getting rid of Lisa. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. Frank's a good one. He gets overlooked sometimes. Yeah, I like that. Alright, Jasmine is 3-4. Wins against Isaiah and then getting wins against Miki and Kenny G. I said in the pre-season review, this is one of, if not the best team. Jasmine's made no trades, and I don't think she should. I still think this is one of the best teams. 7 home runs from 28 home runs. Okay then. That is very interesting. Okay, so with that many home runs, Jasmine should make playoffs easily. In fact, I think she's had a rough start, but I still think she makes playoffs pretty easily. Upcoming matches: Siren, Isaiah, Junior, Kenny. Yeah, it's pretty balanced with like strong teams and the weaker teams, but I think you should be able to get there. I think tighten up the defense a little bit. Defence is definitely a struggle. Like Robbie, Ramona, Fred. Yeah, I mean the defence isn't great, but if you can outscore people, which is what you've been doing in the Kenny G and the Miki game, even in the Nick game, it was close. Yeah, I really like this. You're doing absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. I reckon you could probably be like 8-6 by the end of the season. I've put a number to it now. I've jinxed it, but I think that's where you'll be. I think. Right, Tech. Tech is the other one where I'm like strongest teams. I said Jasmine and Tech. Tech has actually made 2 trades. Susan Gore is on. Libby is also on for Yvonne and Pete. I don't like Libby personally, for the same reason why I don't like Mike. I just don't think they turn up. But he's 5-1, so listen, he's got wins against everyone except Perky. We'll get to Perky. You're gonna be fine. I think you're a forerunner for definitely getting into the World Series. I mean, you could win, but there's people who have come in, Perky, who I think you're gonna have to look out for, because I think he's really shook things up. 12 home runs by Tech, but this is what I'm talking about. Let me use this as an example. Tech is 5-1 with 12 home runs, right? Very reasonable. Raphael's being Raphael, but Jasmine, 28 home runs. You see what I mean? So if Jasmine just tights up defensively, she could walk this league with that many home runs. Like, that is ridiculous. 28? I'm sorry, it's caught me off guard. I don't. That is it. That is an insane amount of home runs. Okay. I'm literally I keep checking, because I'm like, have we done something wrong? Nah, it's crazy. Anyway, Tech, like I said, I'm not a big fan of Libby. Susan's great, but Perky, Tommy, Kuwasuke, he has an easier bracket, I think, than some of the previous players. Tech's in the playoffs easy. We don't need to waste much time. He's there. Junior is 5-2. Junior's picked up wins against Jasmine, Siren, Jordan, Bido Isaiah, Tristan, Daniel, Tech coming up. Some trickier ones coming up, but I think he's got Siren, Jasmine and Isaiah in the last 3 weeks. Jasmine, I think, will be a big one, but 32 wins for, 17 against. Defensively, he's pretty strong. He's got 10 home runs, all with Henri Dijon. I can't stress this enough, because I feel like it doesn't happen in the Little League. Sometimes it doesn't happen in the SDL either, but I can't stress this enough. Henri and Julie, this is a tip. Take it if you want. You don't have to. If you're versing Henri, if you're versing whoever's got Julie, I don't know who's got Julie off the top of my head, but because they have 9 speed, if they're the first up to bat, don't walk them, because it's not worth it, because they'll just fly across the bases. If they have someone on base, as tempting as it is to walk them, because they are Dunkel and Dijon, don't. I'd actually recommend batting against them, because, if they have someone that's already on base, do walk them. Reason being, yes, they have 9 speed, but if there's somebody in front that's already on base, that person is going to sandbag the 9 speed and stop them from stealing too fast. So then I think it's worth walking, because they still have 100 power. So it depends. For me, if there's no one on base, bat against them. If there's someone on plate, walk them and hope that you can sandbag and get out the people, before them, to get the out. That's just what I'd do personally. No trades, according to this, which again is fine. I think this team's great. You don't need to change a thing. You've got Wendy. You'll be fine. I like Wendy. Cool. Yeah, this is great. I don't need to talk too much. Daniel Malbon is also 4-1, 19 and 11 wins against Kuwasu, Belladonna Brown, Captain Munch Tommy D. First loss against Tristan. Currently has a game against Zaya, which we are going to get done at some point. Libby is gone for Yvonne. I hate that trade. I really don't like that trade. Yvonne's great. Listen, it is what it is. People have different play styles, but trading Yvonne for a 4-speed, I know it's Libby, but I don't care. Yeah, I think Daniel got a really good trade there. Home run wise, Joan and Jay, it's all very expected. No real surprise home runs from anyone yet, but we'll see. There's bound to be one weird one somewhere. Malbon will get playoffs pretty easily. I think the playoffs is where it's going to become a much bigger test once you go up against Pelican, Tech, potentially. I think Jasmine will be there or thereabouts. Maybe Siren, Kenny, people like that. But I think he's definitely making playoffs. I like this team. I do like this team. And pitching wise, he's switching out a lot, but he's got plenty of options. So he's mainly going for Grace and Nan Porter. Yeah, fair enough. And then at the very end, you can go for Tony. He hasn't really used Jay, which people will be like, Jay's like got incredible pitching ability. Yes, but I don't like trading staminas on first rounds, especially not big power players like Jay. So I kind of get it. I think Daniel's spot on. I wouldn't personally use Jay. If you have Grace sitting there and Nan, I don't think there's any point using Jay in pitcher. So I like that. Next up, Bella. Bella's 0-7, so still to pick up a win versus Nick, Jasmine, Cap. Belladonna's got some rough games coming up, but 4-6 against Kuwasu, 6-9 against Tommy, 9-11 against Malbon. 11 home runs is actually quite high. Bella's very much doing it over the fence, and do I get that? The team's struggling a little bit. You could do with another power hitter, I think, if that's the way you're going to go. But 11 home runs is competent. It's really good. Pitching, Samuel Middleton has done a lot of the pitch. You are struggling for a pitcher. Kristen Sullivan. I'm surprised Kristen Sullivan hasn't gotten more pitching time. I think it's because Kristen has the arm and it could be better used elsewhere. But I think I use Kristen anyway as pitcher. I think Belladonna's a little bit too far behind now to get the playoffs, but there's wins to be had. I think Kuwasu and Tommy at the end of the final part of the season. I think that's where there's points to be made. Kuwasu and Tommy, I think, will be needing those points as well, so I think they'll be going for it. But I think it's doable. I definitely think it's doable. You've got some great players, though, Horace and Franny. I have traded both of these players, but that's not because I don't like them, because I think they're both great. I just had a different play style in mind. But Horace in particular, don't overlook Horace. Really good offensively. Let's have a look. Captain also hasn't made any trades. I think he's got a trade that is currently in the works. But I'm just going to go by what the sheet says at the moment. So, Sosa, Bonds, Claudia. Okay, so 2-5 wins against Tommy and Belladonna at the start of the season. Then it slowly started to trickle out. Jasmine, Beto, Belladonna, Tommy. Week 10 and 11 are going to be big weeks, and I think week 14 is going to be a big week. Personally, I think you might miss out on playoffs Pause. You are a sub. You're a sub. I completely forgot that you're a sub. So let's put the brakes on. I love this team. I know you put in a trade account and you wanted to trade Sosa and Bonds. I don't understand why you would want to trade Sosa and Bonds. Bonds is as good as a defensive player as it gets. Maybe Jeter and maybe Mondesi at a push, but I think Bonds is incredible, and Sosa is about as good as it gets. I did a tier list, or like a bracket on best backyard players. No clones, just the pros and the backyard kids, and I had Sosa winning the entire thing over Jeter. Sosa's just fantastic. If somebody does offer you a trade, be very careful about who you pick. Honestly, I honestly think if you're trading Sosa, you want Dunkel, you want DeJean. If you want a pitcher really badly, you could go for Leo or Jay, and then I think that's it. I don't think anyone else is worth Sammy Sosa, personally. Because yes, Jeter, maybe, but you've got Bonds, so you don't need Bonds as well. I mean, you don't need Jeter as well. That team's really strong. Defensively, it does fall off with Joella and Earl and Dimitri, but I mean, you can score for fun with Sammy. Only 5 home runs, and that seems to be where the struggle seems to be. Obviously, you have just recently joined, so let's pump the brakes on. We haven't fully got a chance to fully see you yet. I expect Sammy to score a lot more home runs. I think it's going to be tough getting into playoffs from 2 to 5, but I also think you're a new player, you're untested, you very much could easily go on a win streak. So we'll see what happens, but it's a bit up in the air. Right, Tommy D, also 2 and 5, has made a couple of trades. So let's have a little look. So you have done Pablo, Mandy, and Betty for Pete, Jeff, and Luan. I personally am not a fan of Luan, but Bags is great. Pete is great. I hate Pete with a passion. He's one of those players you just don't want to go up against, but he is great. 12 home runs, 3 of them by Pete. No, that's wrong. Pablo, which you have swapped out for Pete. But Pete scored 2 home runs. Pete's a funny one because Pete has what, like 80 power. It doesn't feel like it. He does seem stronger than that when he's actually in game. 2 and 5, I think, is a little bit cruel. This is your point right here. Week 12, 13, 14, you'll have Kurisu, Malbon, Belladonna. Potentially that can be a free for wins. So I think you're slightly far behind now. I think you might just miss out on playoffs. But you win those 3, and you pick up maybe a couple of surprise wins. Maybe if you beat Twiston, Captain, you could sneak in there. It's definitely still doable. But we'll see. We'll see. Pitch-wise, you're starting to use Lulu. You've gotten rid of Mandy. So I get that. I kind of get why you needed to get Luan. I'm just not a big fan of pitchers that have high speed because they're just going to get juiced out. If they don't get a juice, they're useless. They're going to become just a burden on anything else. We'll see. We'll see. You've got some great potential players. I think Lance will have to pop off. Lance will be a decider, I think. Tristan's 6 and 1. I'm going to be honest, right? I've completely slept on Tristan. I've barely looked at Tristan's stuff, and that is Leia, Zenon, Lubel, and Helman at pitch. With just this team is disgustingly good. Oh my god. Schwent, Annie. This team is sick. Wow, I really overlooked this team. This team is like what I want my SDL team to look like. Wins against Tommy. You've conceded 4. That was a huge win by Isaiah in week 7. I'm not gonna lie. But you were literally on for going flawless. Miki, Tommy, you've got some favourable games as well coming in. Your playoffs easy playoffs. No trades. Agree. Don't think you need to do any. To be honest, I think you just sit tight with the team you've got. That is more than good enough. Potential winner. But yeah, I think so. I think the Isaiah game is a little concerning, but 9-0, 6-0, 6-0, 6-0. Like, defensively, you are very solid. Yeah, I don't even need to discuss too much about this team. The home runs were a bit low, but if anything, I think that just shows your ability to hit. Just liners and just get around. So I think you're a very smart player. 120. Amanda has done all the pitching so far this season. And listen, it's Randy Johnson, so yeah, I don't blame you at all. But the crazy thing is, you have Leah and you have Ivan. So even if Amanda does start to juice out, you have options too. Jacinda and Annie too. You've got height. This team is insane. I'm going to write down who I think the win is going to be. And Tristan is definitely one to consider. Kuwasu up next, 3-4. Kuwasu's picked up a lot of wins actually. He got a forfeit loss against Kenny, which is unfortunate. Losing against Perky, we'll get to Perky. Captain 3-1, Belladonna 6-4. Tonya, Lowy, Faye, Parker, a lot of power. There's a lot of power on this team, and I think Parker Collin 5, not a bad amount of home runs. Again, I'm not going to go back. I'm not going to go back again. But Jasmine 26. Was it 26? I'm pretty sure it was 26. Jasmine's confused me. The Little League's starting to confuse me. And you promised you wouldn't do that. Right. No trades. Kurt, I assume, is your pitcher. Yeah, Melissa's doing a little bit of pitch work. I also have Melissa, who can do a little bit of pitch work. I think... man, are you making playoffs? I think you are. I think you score enough that I think it might just get you over the line. And I think you might be the one that might drop down people like Captain and... was it Tommy D as well? Yeah. I think you decide not only your season, but a lot of other people's seasons, just on how your form goes. You're versing Perky Tech, Daniel, Tristan, Tommy, Belladonna. Like these three here at the end of the season. I think a lot of these are going to come down at the end of the season, because it's going to be close. It's going to be really close. But I think Kuwasa will just scrape into the playoffs, which is great, because he had a really tough season last season, and he was an absolute sport about it. Turned up for all the games, played all the games. You love to see it. So it'll be great to see Kuwasu, the Philly goat. It'll be great to see him get the playoffs if he does. But it is definitely close. Nick is 6-1. Cheryl, Pablo, the Webbers, Mandy, Nikki, Timmy, Betty, and Lorelai. 53 and 20. Jesus, have you traded your entire team? Just about. You've got 5 as gone. And you've got 4s in. Which is a little bit confusing. So where's Derek? I'm going to have another look at your stat sheet because something is a little bit funky. Derek has apparently disappeared off the face of the earth. I think you traded Derek for Lorelai, but sure something's funky with this stat sheet, and I don't know what it is. But let's just look at it for what it is. You are 6-1. Wins against Pants, Bido, Miki, Jordan, Cap. That's a big win. 10-0 against Cap. 8-6 against Jasmine, another big win. You're going to be absolutely fine. You'll be in the playoffs, no issue. Win the whole thing. You might come just short and win the whole thing, but you're close. You're like semi-final, I think. You're going to be around that area, which is great. That'd be a great season, especially with Pablo, who I'm not a big fan of Pablo. But listen, if we're looking at the home ones, actually, it's kind of been all Shewell, which I get. Shewell is literally Sosa. Shewell is great. Yeah, okay. We'll take. Miki is 0-6, but I think Miki has had a lot of tough games against Nick, against Jordan, against Jasmine. The team, I think he's lacking slightly in power, but how much arm do you have? You have 4 100 arms, and Keisha and Cal. That arm is insane. I'm understanding why your games are relatively slow, like small scoring on both sides. That arm is absolutely ridiculous. You have a lot. Hang on. 4 height, 3 height, 3 height, 3 height, 4 height, 4 height. You only have 2 heights. Oh, there's wins. This team has wins in it. Absolutely has wins in it. Only made one trade, Kenny Lofton for Raul Mondesi. I think I prefer Kenny in your situation just because you have enough armor, but listen, that's a lot of armor. I can't argue with that. I think you're a little too far behind now to get playoffs, but you'd have to win like I think nearly all your games now. And you've still got people like Perky coming up and a couple of tough ones. But there's wins from this team. Miki will get wins. I just think home one wise, yeah, it's just getting those home ones. Lacking a little bit in power, and that's literally it. That's all it is. I'd recommend it's starting to get a bit late. This is literally the last week of trade week. Will the video even go up in time? It might. You don't even have to take my. I'm saying like what you should do. You can do whatever you want. This team is really good. It just lacks in power a little bit. I'd almost recommend swapping Tony and seeing if you can get someone with power, just to balance it out a little bit. If you swap Tony for say, could you get Raphael or Petra for Tony? You're asking a lot. But you need power. I think this team needs power. Apart from that, I still think you'll get wins. Actually, I'm looking at it again. Right, this is what I need. This is what I'm going to say. Don't get rid of Tony. Get rid of Cal. Because Cal is high up on the tier list. You can get someone really good for Cal. The reason why I say Cal, the reason why Cal is even on that tier is because he has the stamina buff. Otherwise, he's fine, but he's like Sean Green, Chipper Jones level. You don't need a stamina buff. Your average stamina is 77. Like Tracy, 92. Ernie, 85. Oh, Clanky doesn't need stamina. Val's on 100. Keisha needs stamina, but not enough that I can justify a Cal Ripken pick. If you trade Cal, you could get a big power player. I think that's the play. And then there's ones, and then there's not ones. There's wins to be had. I just dropped my pen. Yeah, a little bit too far behind now, I think, to make playoffs. But that is the play I would go with, and I think that is definitely wins to have in this team. Perky. Now, do we address the elephant in the room, which is Perky? Perky hasn't lost a game yet since he's joined. Now, you may think, alright, cool, so he's clearly a very capable player. The thing that concerns me a little bit, he has Juan Gonzalez as his first rounder, and he's still won every game. He might win the entire thing, which is fine. You can be a sub and win the entire thing. Kenny, Tommy, Miki, Jordan. Listen, here's the thing. I'm looking at his matchups coming up. Kenny, Tommy, Miki, Jordan, Pants. Do I see him losing any of those games? I don't see him losing any of those games. I think they're pretty comfortable. Someone needs to shut Perky down. Quick. Because he could start walking with this league. Which is funny. Perky's scary, you know. Could someone stop Perky? I kind of don't want him in the STL. Because I'm looking at his team. This team is not good. And he is just walking. This team is really not good. I mean, he's got loads of, like, height. He's got loads of height. The height is insane. But Carlos is a bit eh. Adam is awful. Chipper, Randy, Vlad. I mean, it's a good all-rounder team, but it's not all that. It really isn't. Yeah. People need... I was going to listen to lo-fi. I misclicked. But I decided not to have the music in the background. Misclicked. Yeah, Perky's going to walk. Right. Bido is 3 and 4. Chico, Jose, Zor, Frankie Uma, Alyssa Blakely. This is also... I also have Blakely and Chico. Right. Bido is 35 and 0 with Jordan, so let's take these home ones with a pinch of salt, right? There's a mistake. I'm not having it. There is a mistake, right? 21 home ones with a 35 and 0 win, and Jasmine still has more home ones. I'm checking that because I'm just confused. I'm going to be honest. I'm really confused. Right, 3 and 4. Right, no trades for Bido as of yet. I don't think he particularly needs any trades. This team is strong. Let's have a look. Siren, Captain Nick. He's got some pretty tough matches coming up. But 61's for, 24 against. I think he might just scrape into playoffs. I think it's between him and Kiwasu as far as those like back end of the playoffs. We'll see. And he's got Chico, and Chico is literally, he's just a point and click. He is the point and click adventure. He really is. If you're not walking him, he's probably scoring a home one. On Sandy as well. Like, I am not chasing after Chico Papas ones like hits on Sandy. I cannot be asked. Yeah, okay. I think you can make playoffs, but only just. Mr. Pants is 5. Wait, Mr. Pants is 5 and 1. See, he's got double Jeter. What is the Little League? The Little League is a fever dream. It really is. Davey, Brenda, Hillary Vargas. Wow, I like this team too. Picked up wins against Jordan, Nikki, Perky, Bido, Tommy. Has won against everyone except Nick, Tech, Kuwasu, Kenny, Nick, Perky, Miki. He's got quite a tough second half of the season, but I think he'll still be fine. By the way, I'm also very aware that the amount of people that I've said are going to be fine is more than how many people can get into the playoffs. Because I'm predicting, right? You don't actually know until the games start getting played. Once you get to about week 12, week 11, then I'll probably have a better guess. But right now I'm kind of just, guessing as best I can. Yeah, but you're gonna be absolutely fine. 12 home runs. Petra's great. Brenda, Hillary. 5 RBI with Marilyn. Dare I say Derek's been a little bit underwhelming stats-wise. But he will wake up. Pitching-wise, Bobby and Marilyn. Bobby and Marilyn? No Whitney? I think you go Whitney. Pitcher. I'm not entirely sure what's going on there. I know Whitney has really low stamina, but so does Marilyn. Sorry, not Marilyn. Davey. Right, okay. Ignore me. That's me being incompetent. Right, I was looking at Marilyn and I'm like, Marilyn's your pitcher? No, it's not. It's Davey. I'm reading it wrong. That makes a lot more sense, because that confused me for a second there. Right, yeah, okay, that's absolutely fine. Yeah, Davey should be a pitcher. Yeah, again, your another one is going to be absolutely fine. It's going to be so close. Going into the playoffs. But you got to take it for what it is. No trades. Yeah, you're fine. Right, last one is Jordan, who is 1-6. I mean, you're making trades and you're trying to patch up the gaps, and I get that. Mikey for Norma is a good trade. Like I said, that's a great trade. Sophie for Frank, Lisa for Debbie. You've got Kenny, I think, as your main pitcher now. Obviously, 91 slow ball. He's kind of a specialist for the slow ball, but it's tough. I do think this team is a little rough. Honestly, I think you've missed out on the playoffs at this point, because you've got Beto, Nick, Perky all in a row there, and then you've Malbon. Malbon, I think, is going to be pretty tricky. Yeah. I mean, no home runs yet. Do you have any home run? I mean, you have plenty of home run potential. Or Sophie. Yeah, Sophie will solve that. Sally's a funny one, because Sally's one of those where it's all or nothing, and I can see where the struggle with Sally would be. Yeah, I think you're a little bit too far behind, but there's some wins. I think you versus Miki in the last game of the season will be a big decider. I think that's one to look out for. If you can stream that, that'd be great, because I'd love to record, commentate that one. Yeah, okay, that's what we'll go with. So that is everyone done. As far as who do I think is winning, I think the final is Perky. I think it's Perky v Tech. I think it's Perky v Tech. It could be Perky versus Tristan. Tristan's team is so good. I definitely think Perky will get to the final. We'll get to the World Series. Do you know what? I'm changing it. It's Perky v Tristan. That's my prediction. Perky v Tristan final. As far as win the whole thing, Tristan. But, oh man, Perky's really good. And he's got a bad team. I think this will be disappointing, because a lot of people will see it as a big talking point. I think if it goes Tristan Perky in the final and Perky loses, I think we have to consider Perky having a weaker team as a big cause of it. And I think that will be a point of contention. But let me explain this actually, because I feel like this needs to be explained. Because obviously there was a trade recently where we wanted to do Lofton for Juan. The reason that I had for rejecting it, and there was a lot of rejections, it did get rejected, is because Kenny is just generally is a better player. Now, having Juan at first round is it's rough, right? It's super rough. The problem is, if we allow a trade to happen, we are simply pushing that weak first round onto another person, which doesn't solve the issue. Obviously, you can't waiver a first rounder because, you know, who are you going to waiver him with? It's tough, but it puts Perky in a tough position, but I also feel like there's not a whole lot we can do at that point. Maybe, when I suggested this to Perky, if you include a really good value second trade to go on top of Juan, maybe you could make something work there. But to be honest, like I said, you're kind of walking the league a little bit here, and I think you don't need to do that. I think Juan is working absolutely fine for you. Juan's good, right? Let's just be absolutely clear. Juan's good. We're talking about Juan like he's like a leper, but he's fine. He's absolutely great. Like, I don't know, but there we go. Right, that is the Little League mid-season review done. For me personally, Tristan, Perky are your finalists. Let me just have a quick flick through, make sure I haven't missed anyone. I'll go through who the leaders are for the home ones and stuff too. Kenny. 28 home ones. Jasmine. 28? I don't know. I can't explain. Listen, if we have a home run derby, right? Do you know batting practice in single player? If you could ever port that to multiplayer, and we had a home run derby, that's all I'll say. Right. Let's have a quick look at the league leaders. So, the home run leader, Mark's actually dropped off a bit. Cheryl is now the home run leader. No, she's not. I'm looking at completely the wrong thing. Mark is still the home run leader. I was going to say, those home runs really went up quick. Right, Mark, Zena, Jose, Henri, Cheryl. There's a lot of the expected people. Mark walks the Little League. He really does. And I don't know why, because obviously he's an amazing batter, right? But no different from Zena. No different from Jose, Henri, Cheryl. Yeah, Mark is kind of just that guy. He really is when it comes to the Little League. He was top scorer last season. He was player of the season last season. And he could very well be again if this keeps up. Okay, I've waffled on and off. We're nearly 50 minutes in. Right, I'm going to end it here. Thanks for watching. I know I yap a lot, but I did say I was going to do this, so we did it. And I will hopefully commentate some games. I still want to do that. If you want to commentate, if you want me to commentate any of your games, just let me know. Send it, and I'll commentate it the best I can. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Peace.